Hey guys, how is everybody today? Welcome to BASCO and 1 degree 15 Marina in Singapore. We just got some exciting stuff happening at the moment, and we thought we'd share it with you. We're down on the docks here, and we're lucky enough to have a beautiful sailboat coming on the market. And so at the moment I'm just going to put a couple of for sale signs on it for a start, and then we'll be meeting the owners and have a bit of a chat about the story. To come aboard?
Yeah.
Oh yes, okay, thank you.
Bottom's in charge.
Do you want to?
Captain says you can. Morning, guys.
Morning.
Welcome to a very wet cockpit.
With a cruising family that have been living on this boat for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weren't a family when we started.
No.
We thought we were going to be on the boat for a couple of years,
Yep.
and then 10 years later, so we were kind of like getting to the 10 year stage, and it's time to move on to something different.
Yep.
Kids
Okay.
growing up, and go back to England and see what happens.
Get another boat.
Maybe get another boat.
Gets in your blood, this boat thing.
Yeah.
There you go, then.
And yeah, you started as 2 and you're now 5, so that's
Yeah.
a pretty exciting
So we
and
just,
challenging.
yeah, once we crossed the Atlantic, we decided to try for a baby when we were in Panama. So when we went through the canal, we already had this one growing. So Rocket was born in Mexico. And then we crossed the whole South Pacific with her. She learned to crawl when she was on the Pacific crossing, which was quite amazing.
Oh, wow.
And then we got married in Fiji, had Indigo, our son, in New Zealand, in Whangarei, and then sailed through across top of Papua New Guinea into Indonesia, and decided to have another one, Buttons for Punishment, and had Autumn, our daughter, on a flying visit back to the UK. She's the only one of this British family actually born in Britain. But yeah, moving on to the next adventure, because Rocket was born in Mexico, we have a Mexican passport for her. So we might
Exciting.
might do some
Might do something
Mexican
there.
adventures.
Yeah.
But it's been an amazing family home, and still is actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only home that they've known.
Yeah.
And
It's
we still,
really exciting.
you know, we still feel like we've got plenty of space, and we're leaving on a high.
Yeah.
And that's really nice to do.
It is, yeah. And we've seen you over the last few days doing a little bit of sanding and
Yeah, but
antique
it's
rig
doing absolutely, because
here
as
and
you can
there.
imagine, with 3 kids and you don't get around to some of the little cosmetic jobs.
Yeah, little bit hard to do varnishing when you've got so many little fingers and things around, right?
Yeah, although they've been getting into it, they've been helping with certain bits of
And
work,
it looks-
haven't you?
yeah.
Like bits of polishing and
And it
stuff.
looks great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you a helper girl? Oh yes.
Yeah, they seem to really enjoy it, and they're just really relaxed on the boat.
I mean, as James says, it's the only home they've ever known, so they've got some brilliant climbing skills, brilliant balancing skills.
It's
You
an
know?
amazing environment, actually.
It is.
It's just like
Yeah.
the climbing that they're so good. People worry about them climbing and things off the
Right.
boat and around. And
Yeah.
They're so adept at it. They're like circus.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and then plus, we've lucked into a lifestyle which allows us to be full-time stay-at-home parents while exploring the world.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
we we are amazingly fortunate. And this boat's kind of allowed
We've been so lucky with this boat that it's our first boat, and
come up, I want to see your
you know, buying this to begin with, and
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
and then being able to just adapt it, expand into it, and it still works.
You're amazing.
Yeah. And you're still having it growing out of it.
No. He even recklessly said we could have another one. I'm not holding him to it.
That wasn't my idea.
But yeah, it's got so much good use of space.
Yeah, I mean,
there's so many different places.
Something I love is the two companionways.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
It gives you a sort of flow through, and like when the kids have made a den on one companionway, you
You
can
can
come
give
with
out the other one.
But more like, you know, when you're sailing, you can be down in the old cabin,
Right.
have an eye on the instruments and everything on night
Nice and,
watch.
makes it nice and safe, and you're
And when you're in a slightly colder place, you're kind of very sheltered down there.
Yep.
Just, so it makes it very versatile.
in lots of places for the kids to sort of play. You know, there's neat areas at the back. They
Yeah.
can get on the floor there.
Oh,
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
the
the
music
arc-
centre
yeah.
cockpit. Yeah,
The
you've
arc
got the
back,
whole
it's like
arc
Yeah.
we call it our terrace.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and it's great for landing big fish on there.
Wow.
And, but also just for hanging out and playing. It's kind of, I feel with the centre cockpit layout, you almost get this extra
An extra
thing.
part of
You
the
don't-
boat, isn't
You
it?
don't use the
Yeah.
whole front foredeck
Yep.
normally, and unless it's a very big boat.
Yeah. So she has caught some fish, has she? This boat.
Yes,
Yes.
the boat has. We're
We're
dreadful at
very
it.
bad at it. We can like occasionally we drag things. And,
No, you were 3.5 when you
Wow.
caught your first fish. And she
Yeah.
was wearing a tutu at the time. But yeah, we find that with our lures, you know, we might catch a tither and we might catch a 13 kilo mahi
Yeah.
with the same lure. So yeah,
the technique is you do it from the stern. I mean, with this pulpit, push pit.
Yep.
It's very substantial, so it's like so secure standing there and like pulling in a big fish.
wrestling a fish.
Wrestling fish, and we fling it onto the aft deck.
That's great for gutting fish, actually. Yeah, it's always quite good. You can sluice it all down there.
So it's actually it's a very secure. At sea, it's a very secure place.
Yeah, particularly because then you've got the hydrovane and the autopilot who can carry on steering.
Right,
Darling.
yeah. And then you've got your solar panels and your wind generator up there, and that keeps all your batteries up to speed. And
Yeah,
you're
basically, unless
self-sufficient.
you've got you know, very windless days and,
Yeah.
no sun, but you know the tropics.
That's pretty rare.
Yeah.
Pretty rare. We don't often run our engine for power.
Right. Yeah. But that's available to top up any time,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
obviously it depends on your power
Yes.
usage.
Yep.
Yeah.
Playing with Kermit.
So really, when you're out, you've got your navigation gear and your refrigeration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's the lovely thing about having the hydrovane as well. It means you don't actually have to run the autopilot
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
she
just-
balances really well. We learned
Yeah.
a lot about balancing the sails because before we had the hydrovane,
Okay.
you know, we were hand steering a lot.
Okay,
so yeah, it's great because it doesn't use any power.
Yeah, because if you're running that, you know, if you're going for a week passage or something and you're running your autopilot the whole
Oh
time,
yeah.
it eats through your batteries.
Certainly does. Yeah.
Yeah, the hydrovane's
Yeah,
fantastic thing.
She's
Back
taken
up.
us across oceans. She's great.
It also has its own rudder, so if you ever had a problem with
Yes.
with your rudder or something,
You can.
you've kind of got a backup. I mean,
It is. It's.
people have sailed across the whole Pacific, having lost their rudder,
Oh yeah.
and just
Just on
sailed on the
the
hydrovane rudder.
That's great. Yeah.
So it's, you know, we sort of see it as a backup as well.
Mm. Good
Yeah.
for safety.
Yeah, there's loads of backups to backups on
Yeah.
a boat like this.
Yeah.
Do you want to take me for a tour up there?
Do you
Well,
wanna come for
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
gonna sneak through?
Yeah.
Don't slip on anything wet.
So we've got
Well, they can
Plenty
glimpse
of-
down into your bedroom.
plenty of ventilation here, and easy access to the anchor. Just got to be careful you don't fall down a hatch when you're walking around. And then look at that, hello! So that's down into the forward cabin, and then you've got your big interlock and everything here. Spare anchor, all ready to go, and everything below decks. The furler and everything is all good. The boat is a working boat, so you know, like it's come in from overseas, so everything's ready. She's ready to go. Nice clean clear decks, so when you're out sailing you wouldn't have these covers on, but when you're in the boat in the marina or on mooring, these covers give you more shade and more from the rain protection. So it's got steps all the way up the mast. So these are fold out ones here, and then you carry on. And if you look up the mast, you will see all the steps, which makes it safer to go up and down if you need to go up when you're at sea.
Okay, let's go and talk to the owners a bit more. Find out what they love about the boat and what the next person's going to love about the boat.
Taking your laundry off.
So here we are again, Jeff.
So what advice have you got for anyone that's might be thinking of casting off the lines and doing what you guys?
Just do it.
Yeah.
Don't hang around.
We met so many people as we were going who said, "Oh, we wish we'd started it younger," you know, and actually, we probably even say the same thing. It's great. Like, you can wait forever for a boat to be ready, and you know, we did a lot to this boat before we launched her, but it was great to just get out there, and it's changed our lives completely.
Yeah.
It's sort of unquantifiable.
Yeah.
So just the learning experience and the places you've seen.
It's so fulfilling.
Yeah.
Like
And-
in
yeah.
so many different areas of life. You know, we're never bored.
Yeah.
And you know, some people might sort of say, "Oh, but you've been doing the same thing for a decade," but it's completely different every single day.
Right, yeah. And what's been difficult? What are some of the challenges?
I suppose
Maybe planning routes and stuff, because initially you think, oh, you sail around the world, it seems open-ended and completely free, and in some ways it is, but you know, you're guided by when storm seasons are, you know, the length of time you're allowed to be in certain countries with visas and things like that.
yeah,
Planning for stuff like that can be,
some countries are harder for visas than others. Some are very easy.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know,
some are very expensive, some
but
planning for kids in different countries, that's a bit of a challenge.
But I must
but-
say, having kids on a boat, I think, has been pretty easy. I mean, the initial learning, because we weren't sailors at the beginning. We've done a bit of sailing. We'd never owned a boat before, so it was that kind of, we just threw ourselves into it, and you know, learning to sail this boat, maintain it, improve it.
learning about engines.
Like, we had this sort of thing that everything we touched, we improved on the boat over time.
Yeah.
So would you have said that you're a handy people, like as far as maintenance and stuff? Were you handy at the beginning, or did you learn that?
I think
I was
you definitely
fairly,
were pretty
fairly handy,
handy, but you know, we've learned a lot
but
of.
not with engines and things.
Yeah.
as such.
Yeah.
That's something I've learned. But, and,
Yeah, but then skip forward a few years and you are underwater in Indonesia, replacing the stern packer gland in a really strong tidal rip, you know, because that's when it needs to be done. And
blocking it up.
yeah, and there's no
outside,
haul
yeah.
out
Yeah.
for hundreds of
Yeah.
miles. You know, you really learn to kind of
You,
face the
you
challenges.
learn to improvise.
Yep. Yep.
And I think I used plumber's putty to block it so water
start,
can come in.
yeah.
But that's part of the fun as well. Then you realise that anything that you know, goes wrong, or if something does break, you can always overcome it, and you can always improvise, and that's why we have so many backups on board as well.
Yep.
And you're facing it as a team.
Yeah.
You know, you're not entirely in isolation. You've got a sounding board. You know.
Yeah.
And
And
so,
you find other boaties are supportive and what have
Oh,
you.
totally. I
Yeah.
mean, you've
In
kind of
places
got.
where there are ones.
Yeah.
I mean, because we've been in some remote stretches as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's an amazing
I suppose
community.
that's we've learned so much of other boat. You know, other boats. You need something. You go to the boat in the anchorage next to you, and they may well have it, or they'll have expertise.
And we have friends all over the world as a result of this.
Yeah.
You know,
It's funny,
and people who've had kids at the same time and in different
Nice,
countries.
nice.
We started off as novices, I suppose,
Yes.
and that over the years we've become experts. And in other people's eyes, we're like, we've done 30,000 miles,
Two oceans.
with kids.
Yeah.
And we're the experts now.
Yeah.
And it's funny
Yeah.
when that sunny changes that
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I think I do know what I'm talking about now, and I do know what I'm doing. But the
Sometimes.
thing is,
Yeah.
there's always stuff to learn.
Yeah.
And it's always going, still on this boat after 10 years, I'm suddenly going, oh, I could set that up slightly differently and that'd be better.
Yeah,
and,
right.
and like, it's something that we're doing from the beginning, and it still happens.
Nice.
so as far as this boat, for your first boat, so you think 41 feet is the right size for a first timer? What do you think about if you'd bought a 44 or a 45 footer or a 48 footer? Would that have been too big?
I did my sail training on 44s,
Yeah.
on Bavaria 44s. So I had learned to handle a boat with those. And you spent some time in the Caribbean on a 42.
Same
Yeah.
size, but I mean, I feel it's a very handleable size.
Yeah, because you
And
can single-hand it.
Yeah, I can single-hand this boat quite happily.
But also, we've never. We have a bit of an open house policy with friends and family, so we always sort of say, "Oh, the more the merrier. There's room for you guys. We will make room." And if you're staying in the tropics, you can even have people sleeping in the cockpit quite easily. So it's a really good size that it can be. We loved it as a couple and could sail her easily as a couple, but also we've had sort of 12 people on board at different times.
Yeah.
And,
I suppose from a cost point of view as well, like if the bigger you start going, you
Yeah.
still need to go to a 45 and everything's a bit bigger, and the maintenance, you need a new sail, your sail's bigger, your
marina
rigging's bigger,
fees and
Yeah.
marina fees are bigger. So
yeah, we initially knew we wanted to have 2 good-sized cabins because we knew that when we were gearing up our whole launch for when it was the right time to start crossing the Atlantic, and we knew we'd be doing that with another couple who were friends of ours, and we wanted to be able to do that in relative comfort, and did that in Warsaw.
yeah, and it's quite nice that the 2 main cabins are opposite ends of the
Yeah.
boat,
Yeah.
and they've got heads
Yeah.
next to them.
So quite
So
private.
you can be very private. We've had family come and stay, and we give them our aft cabin with the heads, and
We
and
all
we
snuggle
all get our own
down.
space. People that aren't used to being on a boat, they're quite happy, and they've got their own way out,
Yeah.
as well with the companionway. So
Yeah.
you feel quite. It's very easy to get away from each other in
It's
the
pretty
space.
your own space.
versatile, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's another reason that we haven't had to kind of change up boats as a result of turning into a family. It's been
Yeah, we've never considered like, oh, we want a
You
bigger
need to
boat.
get another boat. Yeah.
But we're
Yeah.
glad we got one this size,
Yeah.
because obviously, we could have got a 35-foot
Yeah.
boat, and then we'd be pretty pushed with the.
Yeah,
with
we
the-
probably wouldn't still be
with-
here 10
with
years
the
later.
kids.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I feel very lucky that we came across this
This
boat
one, yeah.
Yeah.
initially,
and-
and we didn't really know what
Yeah.
what we were looking at with boats. As
Great
such.
choice then.
So, yeah, how
we
did...
are architects as well, so I think there's something about the layout that kind of spoke to us as well.
Okay, yeah. So as far as choosing this boat, they often say that boats choose you to a certain extent, a little bit like pets at the SPCA. Did you feel that, or?
I think in a way, yeah, because we still have on our hard drive, the sort of short list of boats that we were looking at, the ones we saw in person and the ones that we were considering. And with this one, there was something about that saloon, that main saloon layout, that was just amazing. And we liked the fact that we knew we were planning to cross oceans in her, and she's been built in South Africa, and when we bought her she was in England, but we're the 4th owners, so we know that she's done some blue ocean miles and been absolutely fine for it. So we felt confident that she knew much more about sailing than we did.
Exactly.
And I still feel that.
Yeah.
You know, we've been in the odd big, you know,
You've
big
had heavy
sea,
weather, yeah.
heavy weather, and you take all the sails down and go down below and make some food.
Offshore, I might like that. Very thorough.
And I've literally just let the boat do what it wants, and as soon as everything's, you know, down and clear, the boat just rides, and I've waited out, you know, big storms. And that. And
Nice.
you know,
Safe.
it
We've
was a
never
really good feeling the first
Yeah.
time I realised that actually this boat just knows what it's doing.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, so I feel like she chose us in a way. Or,
Yeah.
I mean, that we got very lucky to find.
But interestingly, we only first looked at this boat because it was right next to where my
climate
uncle
change
lives in
behind you?
Cornwall,
Okay.
and it's a place where I went every summer holiday when I was a kid. A place called Milo.
Yeah.
So I was very familiar with the place that the boat was
Okay.
at,
Yeah.
and it just worked out.
And so you're going to be sad about selling the boat?
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think we know that it's the right time, and at the same time we love her and we could keep going on her, but we also want to have different types of adventures with the family. And I think you can't have this sort of relationship with boat without feeling sad, but also excited for what's going to be coming up for us, what's going to be happening for the next person. You know, I'd like to sort of check in from time to time and see where she ends up.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we're in touch with the original owners for the South African couple who did the fit out, and they're just overjoyed that we've done so much with the boat because it's like their baby. You know, they had this intimate relationship with the boat, and they love that it's still going.
Yeah, no, fabulous, fabulous. So, tips for, we've got the just do it thing. So if someone's going to buy this boat, then, what would be some tips, if you were going to say to them, or you're going to show them the ropes, what would be some tips for a first timer that did what you did?
Live for anchor as much as possible.
Okay.
That's what's great. I mean, look, this is a lovely marina. We can't fault it. We're not really marina folks, but this one is really great. But a boat like this, you can just dawdle at anchor in a beautiful spot almost indefinitely, and that's really.
You have your own world. It's literally just it's like having your own island.
Yes.
And the freedom
Right,
and
right.
the space that's very hard to get these days.
It's just what's making it.
Amazing. And use her.
Yeah.
I think it's boats shouldn't just sit there. And because we've been using it all the time, we've been on top of all the main because we have to. It's not like
Can't
we
walk
just want to
home.
be on site. It's just we've got the family. We're moving around all the time. We
It's
have
like
to
a
make
house
sure the
mixed
boat
with a car.
is going. So and the tip is to, if you touch anything, improve it.
Yep.
Right,
Yeah.
that's a great tip. If
Yeah,
you
that's
touch anything,
really
improve
good.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So as much time as possible at anchorage. If you touch something, improve it.
Yeah.
And the
Go
third.
now, don't wait.
And go now, don't wait. So that's fabulous. That's
Yeah.
fabulous. So anything else that we want to add? No, this is great.
Yeah, I
And-
think this is good start. And just have a look on BASCO's site, and you'll see a lot more information and some updated photos, and with a lot of spec and improvements.
And
And just give us a call if there's any questions.
And we're
Fire
planning
them
on
over.
doing some open homes, aren't we, Will?
We sure are. Yeah.
There's also our website.
That's right. Tell us about your website. Yeah.
Will you set up the website?
Yeah, well, it started off as a way to let our family and friends in the UK not be worried
Yep.
if we were going to be out of contact.
Yep.
And it's ended up being this sort of journal of our entire travel so far. So yeah, we have that. We have an
Well, it's got all
Instagram.
your writing on it.
Yeah, so I write for sailing magazines sort of across the world, and so it's got all of the articles in that. Lots of things about having kids on board, obviously.
Nice,
Which some
nice.
So
people
there's
know
a
about.
lot. There's a lot of information
Yeah.
in there, and you can see what the boat's done,
Yeah.
how it is. It's just all there, and there's
And also, we're happy to answer questions. You know,
Yeah.
it would have been,
Yeah.
we didn't buy this boat from someone who was around to answer
Yeah.
any questions. So we're really happy to be involved in
Yeah.
any questions someone might
And
have.
that's a really good
Yeah.
thing too, because you are going to be here for a bit longer, so
Yeah.
people are going to be able to actually talk to you, and you're going to be able to show people through the boat. Whereas lots of times, you know, boats that William's been involved with, there are no people to answer the questions.
Yeah.
But that's such a big
We can even give some secret
Yeah.
anchorage tips.
We know, yeah, we kind of we know every detail.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously there's always on a boat there's always things to do, and you know,
That's
we can
good.
point out any of those things.
Okay, fabulous.
And
Great.
advise on.
Yeah.
Super.
Fantastic.
Okay, well, fantastic story, fantastic family,
Yeah.
fantastic boat.
Thank you.
Yeah, really
Yeah.
looking forward to helping you guys with the next stage.
Thanks.
There's the little family there. Let's just get everyone in there.
Indigo, do you want to come and say goodbye?
Bye-bye from down below. Okay, guys.
Okay.
He's down there with Kermit the Frog.
Okay, bye for now.
Okay, all right, bye.